Fraud Tip Friday, and I'm coming to you live today. And I wanted to give you some personal as well as some business fraud tips and just some general information that I think will be very useful to you right now. So we'll start off with Governor Abbott. Governor Abbott today, a little bit earlier, went in and talked to the state of Texas about reopening the state of Texas and businesses and being able to leave our homes. So he set out some guidelines, and I just wanted to run through a couple of those with you. So first of all, he did say that schools are going to remain closed for the remainder of this year. And I know that's disappointing, especially to the seniors that are out there and graduating this year, but they are to remain closed for the duration of this school year. On Monday, however, April 20th, the state parks will reopen. Yay, so we can get out and go to state parks. Now, there are some restrictions on that. First of all, any visitors are supposed to wear face masks if they go to state parks, and we're to maintain social distancing and limit groups to 5 people or less. So we do have the ability, though, to go out to some state parks, so that'll be very nice. On April 22nd, the medical community restrictions will be lifted, or loosened, I guess. They are going to start allowing doctors and surgeons to treat patients that need surgery that is elective surgery. It's not life-threatening surgery. So that is being lifted or loosened on April 22nd. So that's very good news. And on April 24th, this is a big one. April 24th, which is Friday of next week, so a week from today, retailers will be able to open back up. They won't be able to have customers, but they can deliver goods to customers on a to-go basis. So they can go into their stores and deliver goods to their customers on a to-go basis. So you can pull up to a store after you've contacted them and let them know what you want and be able to pick it up from the store. They'll deliver it to your vehicle. So that's very good news. And then he announced that on Monday, April 27th, he's going to issue some executive orders that identify more lifted restrictions as we go forward. I think he's in many ways following the guidelines that President Trump set out in yesterday's conference to the country on what we can and can't do, the restrictions that are recommended at a federal level. So it does appear he's loosened those up a little bit because we just don't have as many reported cases, and we have a lot more recovered people from COVID-19 than a lot of states that are hotspots. And so that's very, very, very good news. I'm very happy about that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is on the personal level. And a lot of you may have received your stimulus checks. They were direct deposited into many people's bank accounts if you had your direct deposit information with the IRS. And I think they went in on Wednesday. So that's very good news. But there are some people who still haven't received that, and there are a couple of different reasons for it. One I did want to make you aware of is if you filed your taxes with H&R Block or with TurboTax, the IRS has had an issue, and they're aware of it, in getting the direct deposit payments into people's checking accounts or savings accounts that filed their taxes through those two providers. They are working on fixing it, and it should be functional very shortly, so they want everybody to get their money. And if you have not received your money, you can go on to the IRS website, and that is irs.gov. Make sure you put in the gov. It's not .com. It's irs.gov. And you can check the status of your stimulus check. And if you're still waiting on a refund, you can check that status as well. I do know that for some people logging on to that used H&R Block or TurboTax to file their taxes, it's coming up with unknown status. So if that happens to you and you did happen to file through either of those two providers, then you'll know what's going on. They're working on fixing that as quickly as possible. But since those stimulus checks are hitting people's checking accounts, I wanted to make you aware that fraud is on the rise drastically because of it. So be very careful, very careful. I recommend that if you have a debit card on your checking account, that you just don't use it for a while. Keep it at home. The most credit cards and debit cards anymore have that microchip in it. And if you take that out in public, then someone just walking past you can have a device that doesn't cost a lot of money, and just by walking past you, they can get the information from that card, whether it's a debit or credit card, if it has that microchip, unless you've secured the card. Some banks and lenders will provide a sleeve that you can put your credit card or debit card into, and some do not. So if you don't have something like that, here's an idea. It sounds a little weird, but it actually is highly effective. Get some aluminum foil and either wrap your card in aluminum foil and keep it in your wallet, keep it covered with aluminum foil, or double over a piece of aluminum foil and put it into the cash slot in your wallet. And as long as the wallet's closed, then everything in your wallet is protected from those types of devices. The other tip I have is if you do go out and use your debit card, make sure that when you enter your PIN into the keypad, that you cover the keypad with your hand. Cover it up so that no one can see it that's around you, and that no camera can capture that information. Because what a fraudster will do is walk past you while the card is out and capture the information with that device, and then with a camera, they'll capture your PIN number and have full access to your bank account. So please be very careful. I really, truly recommend that right now you just leave your debit card at home and don't use it. Check your bank accounts on a daily basis. Look at the actual transactions, not just the balances, and make sure there's no fraudulent charges going through. Oftentimes when a card is compromised, the charges that come through originally are for very minor amounts, a couple of dollars. And if they go through, then the big money starts coming out. And if you've exposed your debit card, then that's coming out of your account. That's money coming out of your account. And depending on how much they're able to withdraw from your account, it could take a few weeks to get that money back. So just be very careful about using your debit cards right now. And those are the tips that I have for personal fraud tips and information for people. Next, I wanted to encourage small business owners, please go sign up for our mini course. I know that retail establishments are going to be able to begin reopening, and now before that happens is the perfect time to make sure that you have systems in place to prevent employee fraud from occurring, and it will also help with other types of fraud as well. So go sign up for our mini course. You can find that at our website at premierprevention.com, and it's free. So if it's free, it must be good, right? And it'll give you some valuable information. All you'll need to do is register for it, just your name and email address and you set up a password. But please go take advantage of that. It's useful information that will help you with your business, and I highly encourage you to do that. I did want to give you another couple of pieces of information for small business owners. As many of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware, the Payroll Protection Program has run out of money. So Congress is fighting about getting more money out to small business owners. I know it will happen. I'm not sure when it will happen. So if someone contacts you and says that they have a source that can get you some of that PPP money, that's fraud. It's not available to anyone. They have run out of money. If you have not submitted your application and received your PPP forgivable loan, then you're going to have to wait until they fund it again. So do not talk to people or give information to anybody that says that they can get you some of that money right now. It has been used up at this point. So be very careful about that. And also be very careful personally as well as professionally. If there's anyone out there saying that they're from the IRS or from the Small Business Administration that wants or needs your personal information, and they call you on the phone or they text you, that's fraud. They're not going to do that. If it's related to the stimulus check, the IRS will not call you on the phone and ask you for your personal information. They don't do that. They're not going to do that. If you get a call like that, it is fraud. Hang up. Do not give them that information. The IRS is not going to email you and ask you for that information. And if your bank emails you and says that they need that information, then you need to be very cautious about that. Go online or pick up the phone and call your bank and talk to them about that. Do not just answer the phone and talk to somebody that called you that says they're from your bank. Don't do it. They are more likely than not a fraudster. So be very cautious about that. If you need some information about the PPP funding and calculating what the amount is that may possibly be forgiven and or the portion that is refundable, I highly encourage you to message us. Leave a comment for us or send us a direct message if you want more information about that or help with that calculation. If you end up receiving an amount that you're not sure how to take care of that, what portion of it is going to be forgivable, if it's all going to be forgivable, we're happy to answer those questions for you. And one thing I do recommend is if and when you do receive money from the Payroll Protection Program, open up a separate bank account and put that money into a separate bank account so that you can identify specifically where that money went, so that you're not stuck repaying any of that loan if you used it for the purpose that it was intended. That allows you to prove it beyond a doubt on how the money was spent. So go ahead and open up a separate account and transfer that money into that account. And that is all that we have for today. I hope that everybody's ready for a nice weekend. It looks like we're going to have state parks opening up, so people will be able to go out again and get a little more fresh air. So that's an awesome thing to have happening. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment, send us a direct message. You can email us. Go visit our website at premierfraudprevention.com. We have some fabulous information there. And we do have, in addition to the mini course, we have a course for small business owners to teach you step by step how to prevent and deter employee fraud within your business. And we'd be happy to answer any questions you have about that as well. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week on Fraud Tip Friday. Have a great day. Thank you so much.